transports, Terminators, back through time to remove those who would oppose it. John and I were at the top of their hit list. But the Resistance sent a lone warrior, a protector for John.
From the skies, go, go!
While R-rated movies are not typically associated with family-friendly amusement parks, there have been several cases where R-rated films inspired theme park attractions. From intense sci-fi action flicks to straight-up horror movies, these movies really put the thrill in thrill rides. So, be prepared for some spine-tingling chills as we uncover the attractions where parental guidance is advised. To ease into this list, I'm going to count down from the least scary to the most terrifying. Let me know in the comments if you agree or if you're much braver than me. The first R-rated movie to be reimagined into a Universal Studios theme park experience was the 1991 movie Backdraft, directed by Ron Howard. The movie starred Kurt Russell and William Baldwin as two feuding brothers carrying on a heroic family tradition as Chicago firefighters. It was a special effects show rather than a traditional ride, designed to give guests an up-close experience with fire stunts and the intense atmosphere of a fire scene. The Backdraft attraction opened at Universal Studios Hollywood in 1992 and at Universal Studios Japan in 2001. Universal Studios collaborated with filmmakers, including director Ron Howard, to ensure the attraction captured the essence of the movie. The goal was to immerse guests in the dangerous and dramatic world of firefighting as portrayed in the film. The attraction set was carefully crafted to look like a warehouse on fire. Special effects designers and engineers worked to replicate realistic environments, including crumbling structures, collapsing beams, and intense flames. The layout was designed to safely contain the fire while immersing the audience in a realistic blaze. It featured cutting-edge special effects, including advanced pyrotechnics and propane systems to create convincing fire effects. Intense soundscapes and strobe lighting enhanced the illusion of chaos, replicating the sensory overload of a fire scene. Blasts of heat added to the landscape, making visitors feel as if they were inside a burning building. Developing an attraction with a live fire required rigorous safety measures. Fire suppression systems, ventilation, and strict protocols ensured that the attraction was safe for both guests and staff. Backdraft was designed as a walk-through experience where guests moved through different stages. It began with an introduction to the movie, then went into behind-the-scenes explanations of fire effects, and finished with a climactic warehouse fire simulation. The attraction fit into Universal's broader focus on showcasing movie magic and behind-the-scenes effects. It highlighted the studio's ability to combine entertainment and education about filmmaking, while submerging the guests in the experience. While Backdraft was a popular attraction, it eventually closed at Universal Studios Hollywood in 2010 to make way for Transformers: The Ride 3D. And it never reopened to Japan after the 2020 closures. However, it remains a notable example of Universal Studios' innovative approach to immersive experiences. Next on the list is another R-rated movie that made its way into Universal Studios. The Terminator attraction is part of the park's long history of creating immersive, thrilling experiences based on popular films and franchises. The journey of the Terminator attraction began in the 1990s, following the success of the Terminator film series, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, particularly Terminator 2: Judgment Day. In the early 1990s, Universal Studios sought to expand its entertainment offerings, with attractions based on blockbuster movies. The Terminator franchise, with its strong fan base and visually impressive action sequences, was an obvious choice. In 1993, Universal began working on a new attraction that would combine state-of-the-art special effects, live action, and cutting-edge technology. The result was Terminator 2 3D: Battle Across Time, a hybrid attraction that opened at both Universal Studios Hollywood and Florida in 1996. The experience was a unique combination of a 3D film and live-action elements, using large-scale projections and cutting-edge visual effects. The attraction was directed by the legendary James Cameron, the creator of the Terminator films, and starred Arnold Schwarzenegger, reprising his iconic role as the Terminator. When the attraction opened in 1996, it quickly became one of the most popular experiences in both parks. Guests were treated to a 3D movie that was integrated with live-action sequences, creating the illusion of a high-stakes battle between humans and machines. The ride was praised for its high-quality effects, which included moving seats, fire, and live actors, blending movie magic with interactive theater. The Terminator 2 3D experience was groundbreaking in its use of technology, with some of the most advanced special effects of its time. The attraction's success led to its expansion to other Universal Studios parks around the world, including Universal Studios Japan, and the installation of similar versions in other locations. However, by the mid-2000s, the popularity of the Terminator films began to wane, and newer, more thrilling attractions took center stage at Universal Studios. As a result, the Terminator 2 3D attraction began to see a decline in attendance. In 2017, it was officially closed to make room for the Bourne Stuntacular. Terminator 2 3D is remembered fondly by both fans of the films and theme park enthusiasts for its innovative use of technology and its ability to bring the world of Terminator to life, as frightening as that sounds. Staying in the sci-fi world, we have another attraction based on a massively successful R-rated franchise. The Extraterrestrial Alien Encounter attraction at Disney World operated from 1995 to 2003 in Tomorrowland at the Magic Kingdom. It was a highly intense, dark ride that focused on a science fiction theme where guests encountered a terrifying alien creature. The initial concepts for Alien Encounter were based on the Alien franchise created by Ridley Scott. It was planned to be a shooter dark ride named after and set on the Nostromo, where guests would battle the xenomorphs. But this idea was scrapped for two reasons. First, it would be too scary for a Disney attraction. Second, the Alien series was rated R. This contradicted a rule of thumb that Disney attractions are supposed to be based on either G or PG films. However, Disney had since developed attractions from franchises with at least one PG-13 rated film, such as Pirates of the Caribbean, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and Avatar. However, the Alien franchise would eventually find its way into a Disney park as a scene in the Great Movie Ride at Disney's Hollywood Studios. The Nostromo attraction concept would essentially be revised into two separate attractions. The science fiction shooter dark ride would evolve into the family-friendly Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin, while a reworked version of the Alien franchise would inspire a new theater in the round attraction, with a new alien spawning the Alien Encounter show. The premise was that visitors were in a futuristic XS Tech facility for a demonstration of teleportation technology. The experience quickly turned terrifying when the teleporter malfunctioned, accidentally bringing a dangerous alien creature into the room instead of the intended guest. The ride was known for its suspenseful and frightening atmosphere, featuring startling effects like flashing lights, loud noises, and the sensation of the alien moving around in the dark, all while being in an enclosed space. It had a reputation for being much scarier than most Disney attractions, which made it a unique experience for anyone who dared to enter. However, after a few years, the show was closed and replaced by Stitch's Great Escape in 2004, which toned down the intensity and switched to a more family-friendly vibe with the mischievous Stitch character from Lilo and Stitch. Many Disney fans still remember Alien Encounter for its thrilling, somewhat frightening nature that was definitely outside the norm for Disney attractions. Moving over to Universal Studios, there seems to be a sentiment that some of the attractions in Universal were based on movies that could have had an R rating in today's world. Jaws is one such attraction. Given a PG rating when the film debuted in 1975, there's some thought that a higher rating would be justified today, given the gory shark attacks, severed bodies, and amount of blood, smoking, and intense elements throughout the movie. Alas, Universal struck gold with a Jaws-themed attraction. The original ride opened in 1990, and after a series of breakdowns and refurbishments, the ride reopened in the spring of 1993, providing park-goers an experience like never before. The ride concept wasn't just about recreating the movie, but making guests feel like they were starring in their own Jaws experience. Inspired from a scene in the studio backlot tour, the creative team envisioned a boat tour through the fictional town of Amity, where guests would encounter the infamous shark in all its monstrous glory. Guests would board a boat tour led by a guide for a seemingly peaceful ride. As the tour progressed, things took a frightening turn when the boat became stalked by a gigantic, aggressive shark. The shark attacked the boat and crew, and the ride filled with suspense as it seemed like guests were being targeted by the deadly creature. With state-of-the-art animatronics and elaborate special effects, the ride provided a level of immersion that hadn't been seen before in a theme park. The climax of the ride involved a dramatic showdown with the shark, complete with explosions and a thrilling escape. The ride combined suspense, excitement, and the thrill of the movie's iconic scenes, providing guests with a unique adventure in a theme park setting. Unfortunately, the ride was closed in 2012 to make way for the Harry Potter expansion. Now we're getting to the part of the list that I really didn't want to include, because I'm not a fan of horror movies, but here goes. Staying in the Universal Studios realm, they certainly have no qualms about using R-rated films for their Hollywood Horror Nights attractions. Movies like The Exorcist, Halloween, and The Purge are featured in their chilling lineup. While not part of the everyday theme park experience, this event takes place annually for 2 whole months, September through October, offering plenty of not-so-family-friendly entertainment. And now, for the most terrifying ride on our R-rated list. If we hop across the pond to Thorpe Park in Surrey, England, there's an absolutely horrifying thrill ride that makes me shiver just thinking about it. The attraction is called Saw, the Ride, and it's a steel roller coaster based on the horror franchise Saw. The ride begins with an enclosed, dark ride section, which contains 2 drops, 2 stationary scenes, and a barrel roll. Due to being the only coaster in the world to be themed to a horror movie when it opened in 2009, Saw the Ride was labeled as the scariest ride in the world. I'm too grossed out to tell you more details, but let's just say they use a spray of water to simulate getting splattered with blood. Have you experienced any of these R-rated attractions? Let me know in the comments, and about which ones you'd like to visit. See you next time.